What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Let's get into the daily content. So Will Gottlieb, he put it out today that the Chicago Bulls passed on multiple offers for Alex Caruso at the trade deadline. One of those offers would have included a top 10 pick in this year's draft. I would suspect that team's probably the Houston Rockets. We know they were making a playoff push towards the end of the year, but he doesn't specify what team that was in this report. That's not surprising to me. We know that they passed on multiple offers. There's been a lot of reports that the Golden State Warriors made a really strong offer for him, and the Bulls said no. That offer obviously didn't include Jonathan Kuminga. Probably was Moses Moody and a couple picks, but we know the Bulls were turning down offers for Alex Caruso at the trade deadline. I'm not even surprised by the mandate from ownership to get to the playoffs. We know that's Jerry Reinsdorf's MO. We know that he wants that playoff money. Even if it's as an 8 seed, he wants that small little playoff check, even if they get swept in the first round. So that part doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is, why does AK have such good job security? If the mandate was to get to the playoffs and you sat on your hands with a subpar roster, with a sub 500 roster, with a losing roster, how is your job secure? If I'm the owner and I tell my general manager, I tell my president of basketball operations, yo, man, I don't give a fuck what you do, what you got to spend, what draft capital you got to give up, who you got to trade. I need you to make the playoffs. And then that motherfucker sits on his hands and doesn't make a goddamn move at the trade deadline. His seat's going to be hot. He's going to have some major questions to answer. So I don't understand how the Bulls operate, man. If you have that mandate out there, I don't necessarily agree with that mandate. You know, I don't put a lot of stock into making the playoffs as an 8 seed, although I was saying I should take that back. I do put stock in making the playoffs because I wanted to see what Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu could do, even if it was an 8 seed in the playoffs. So if you put that mandate out there and the dude doesn't get it done, not only does he not get it done, he doesn't even attempt to get it done. I could understand if you have that mandate and you make a trade, the trade doesn't work out that way. Like when the Thunder brought in Gordon Hayward, they thought maybe he could take them to another level. It didn't work out. And then Sam Presti at the end of the year, he said, I thought it could work. It didn't work. That's on me. I'll learn from it. AK has never had a moment like that. He's never had a moment where he made a move like that at the trade deadline to try to go all in or to try to get to another level, and then it failed, and then he just owned up to it. He's never really tried for that. I mean, the Vucevic trade, I guess, was a push for that, but to this day, he has not owned up to the fact that he overpaid for Vucevic or that the extension was a bad idea or any of that stuff. So I don't understand his job security. This report coming out should make his seat hot as hell. Him and Mark Eversley, they both should be on their way out if this report is true. If you had the mandate from ownership to make the playoffs and you didn't, not only did you not make the playoffs, you didn't even make a move to try to get you there, you should be on the hot seat. But Mark Eversley, he just got a secret extension. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Jerry Reinsdorf. I don't know if these are empty mandates, if he's telling them, hey, you guys better make the playoffs, and then he just checks out for the rest of the year, and he checks back in June and is like, oh, we didn't make the playoffs? That sucks. Why not? And then he just buys whatever bullshit excuse they give him. But it's weird, man. The Chicago Bulls, they do business in really weird ways. So we know Alex Caruso had a pretty robust trade market at the trade deadline. That trade market is going to go from here to here. It's just the way it is. If they would have got him at the trade deadline, they would have had him for last year's playoff run and next year. If you're trading for him now, you're really only getting him for the year. Like we've covered before, theoretically, you can sign him to an extension, but the way the extension rules work, he can only get a 30% pay increase. If he hits the open market, he's going to make way more money than that. So he's not going to sign an extension. So any team trading for him now, they're basically trading for him for 1 year and hoping they can re-sign him next summer. That lowers the trade value. So it's going to be interesting. I still suspect we see a trade done because they promise change, and that's really the only avenue to change. Nobody's going to give up a haul for Zach LaVine. Nobody's trading for Nikola Vucevic unless we attach assets. DeMar DeRozan in the sign and trade market isn't going to be worth much. Same with Patrick Williams. Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu, they have a lot of trade value, but their contracts make them borderline untradeable just because it'd be foolish for the Bulls to give up on those guys at such a young age, locked into such cheap contracts. So if change is really coming, it needs to come from an Alex Caruso move. So we got to see what AK and Mark Eversley are really made of. This summer, man, it's nut busting time. They need to go out. They need to make a move. They need to get this team to the next level. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think about this report. It really doesn't surprise me. We knew Alex Caruso had a pretty robust trade market at the trade deadline. We knew they were turning down offers left and right. We knew that they prioritized making the playoffs, even if it was as an 8 seed. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. It's just another disappointing day as a Bulls fan, man.